Some would say, Jim, the conversation never actually ends.
That, uh, yes, the accuracy. Welcome to My God a Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I preview Georgia's season opener against the Thundering Herd of Marshall. We talk through what we're looking for in the game, and we answer questions from you, our listeners. As always, remember to check out the newly redesigned MyGottaPodcast.com to see our latest merch. And you can follow us on social media at MyGottaPodcast. Finally, if you need help with your website or your online presence, head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs. Now, let's join the conversation in progress. Week one.
We made
We're,
it.
we're
We
like
made it,
back.
Jim.
We're back. We're like all the way back.
We're ready to kick the tires and light the fires for the season.
As per usual, there was at least one should we be recording mentioned in the podcast before cast. So hit record. So yes, the conversation is in progress for those who want.
It's always in progress.
Ah.
Some would say, Jim, the conversation never actually ends.
That uh yes, the accuracy. Uh
I don't. I'm at a loss for this one, Jim. Like, I know that you've done the homework, you've done the research, just like I have. I know that Dog Central, Graham, Coffee, and folks have been kind of finding the same things. Like, I don't really know what to make of this game, Jim.
it's a really weird one. It's a really weird one. I think I'm gonna go back to like Monday when I texted you and I was like, "Hey, remember when I said I want to record Monday or Tuesday? Yeah, can we record Wednesday?" like and like my reasoning was well my reasoning for not wanting to record Monday was that like I wasn't ready yet. And then the hilarious thing was then like Monday night we're texting when I like found my like research or whatever. I'm like texting you like crazy. And we had a Monday evening should we be recording text thread. So um probably should have
Yeah.
just called you then and hit the record button, but
I was
here we
just
are.
about to say, you're like, can we record Wednesday? And then you like sent me a string of texts, and it was like, wait, I thought we weren't recording. Why, why
I
are we
know.
just recording now?
I was doing my prep. I guess we should have just done it live in hindsight, but that's okay. Here we are. Here we
We'll
are.
do it live.
We'll do it live. Yeah, man. Thundering Herd. The Thundering Herd coming into
All
Athens.
right, let's run through the repertoire, and we'll get into
All right.
what
All right,
we're
let's do
alluding
our
to.
yep. So follow us on social media at My God Podcast. If you would like to support us, head over to homefield.mygodapodcast.com. Use the code hunker down and get 15% off your first order. We'll start with that. But like on the matchup. So we got Saturday, 3:30 p.m. in Sanford Stadium, Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium. The Dogs coming off an 11-3, 6-2 in the SEC season. Marshall actually was 10-3, 7-1 in the Sun Belt, reigning Sun Belt champions. They are unranked, however, and the Dogs come in ranked at number 5. Games on ESPN. Broadcast crew: Mike Monaco, Kirk Morrison, and Don Davenport. Not familiar. Hopefully they are good for those watching on TV. The official hashtag is hashtag Marsh versus UGA. That's MRSH versus UGA. That is the official hashtag that we will no doubt forget to use. There has only been one game between these two schools in history. It was back in 2004. Georgia won 13-3. I was at that game. Were you at that game? Were you? I'm trying to remember. Were you out of school at that point, or you were still there?
What year was it?
2004.
I was there in the fall of 2004
Okay, so you're probably there.
because I graduated in December
Okay,
2004.
sounds like me. I was December. So yeah, I was there. Low scoring game. Don't really remember much about
I'm fairly positive I was at that game.
it. So yeah. That was a weird one. And then the weather. So weather looks great temperature wise, like high of 77, low of 66. But I guess kind of watch out chance of rain. So I don't know. Maybe bring the poncho.
You might get a little wet in the morning for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. You want to shall we do Hasty's Harvard history?
Let's. Yeah, let's do Hasty's Hargrett history.
Okay.
All right. Jason's back for another stellar season. He's already sent us a couple of things that we're excited about, and he sent us the first one for the kickoff game here. And I think that he kind of mentioned that there wasn't a whole lot, but we
Yeah.
kind of ran down some ideas with him on this, and I think that you're gonna like them.
Oh wait, hold on.
Nope.
Uh, and now I missed. No, I didn't. It didn't work. It didn't work. My production is off, but so we'll go this way. All right, JP, take it away.
There we go. There we go. All right. On September 18th, 2004, Georgia ranked number 3 in that week's AP poll, defeated Marshall University 13-3 in a mostly forgettable game, as we already talked about. That matchup 21 years ago marks the only meeting between the two schools until they take the field for the first game of this season. Despite that, the schools have such a limited on-field history, they were linked together during the second half of the 1990s. The 1995 season was critical for Georgia's head coach Ray Goff. Goff's Dogs were coming off of a 6-4-1 ties record in 1994, which included a humiliating loss to Vanderbilt on homecoming. Vince Dooley had mandated Goff show significant improvement during the 1995 season. Showing improvement would be difficult since All-American quarterback Eric Zeier had finished his eligibility and had been drafted by the Cleveland Browns, who were coached in 1995 by Bill Belichick. Though clouds were hanging over the program, there was reason for optimism. Promising sophomore quarterback Michael Bobo would take over for Eric Zeier and hand off and run up the gut. I made that part up. And Robert Edwards, previously a defensive back, had been moved to running back and replaced the departed tailback Terrell Davis. Hines Ward, also a sophomore, was expected to contribute at receiver and running back, and in the defensive backfield was a heady safety from Bainbridge named Kirby Paul Smart. The 1995 season was marred by injuries at almost every position, and the team ended the year with a 6-6 record. Goff was relieved of his position, though at the time it was called a negotiated resignation after an 18-17 victory over Georgia Tech. Sounds familiar.
Yeah. See.
We seem to just change coaches after we beat Georgia Tech, which is kind of strange. This set off quite a coaching search that led to the hiring of Glenn Mason. You may be wondering, huh? Fear not, we will tell you. Head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks, Mason was coming off a great for Kansas 10-2 record in 1995. He was viewed as a program builder, but had no ties to Georgia or the South. Huh, that sounds familiar, Jim. Some other coaches around the SEC. I think that there were three things that led to the decision of Glenn Mason being selected as our new head coach, said Georgia Athletics Director Vince Dooley. First, his diversity of career coaching experience on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. Second, his record of successfully rebuilding programs in what were at the time two of the most difficult coaching assignments in the country. And third, the great respect he has nationally among those who know college football. Mason was introduced to the media and fans at a press conference and the team at their bowl practice. After that practice, Mason told the press, "They're a good-looking lot. They fill out their uniforms pretty well." Then he left to return to Kansas to coach his team in the Aloha Bowl, which would be played on Christmas Day in 1995. At the Aloha Bowl, Glenn Mason announced that he would be staying at Kansas. He later cited personal reasons for that decision. Dooley, who was visiting family in Alabama for the holiday, scrambled to get back to Athens and reopen the coaching search. He called Marshall head coach Jim Donnan, who had been considered for the job that for a short time went to Mason. As an aside, Coach Dooley once told me that this involved stopping multiple times on the drive back to Athens to find payphones at gas stations, which is just
That's
wild to
amazing.
think about in 2025.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, all of this is wild to think about in 2025. Like, can you imagine the media, like, storm, sorry, Carter, that would have happened if this had happened at a school like UGA? I don't know. It's just crazy to me. Marshall, which was then a division in Division One AA, had lost the national championship to Montana by only 2 points, with former NFL quarterback Chad Pennington running the offense. Donovan's overall record at Marshall was 64 and 21, which included 5 consecutive seasons with over 11 wins and the 1992 Division One AA national championship. Donnan later said, I knew Glenn Mason was a friend of mine, but I didn't know he was that good of a friend. Coming to Athens from Huntington, West Virginia, Donnan brought much of his Marshall coaching staff and several players, including tight end Jermaine Wiggins and running back Olandis Gary. Though Gary is little remembered in Athens today, he did lead the Denver Broncos in rushing in 1999 while subbing in for injured teammate Terrell Davis. Hmm. Glenn Mason coached only one more year at Kansas before leaving to coach Minnesota. Donnan's first season in Athens wasn't successful, but he did ultimately stabilize the program and bring in the talent that would eventually lead to the early success of one Mark Richt in Athens later.
Amazing.
What a winding, twisting tale that is.
Yeah.
You
I
almost wonder if Glenn Mason didn't decide to, you know, if Glenn Mason didn't decide to stay at Kansas and came to Georgia, you almost kind of wonder, like, do we end up with Kirby Smart? I don't know.
Right. Like what would have happened? Yeah,
Like,
it's
what
it's
would have
wild. And
happened?
I remember like turning on that Kansas bowl game on Christmas Day with my dad, like to watch it, to be like, hey, we're gonna watch Georgia's new coach, coach his former team. And like I remember when they turned on the broadcast, like they said, like Glenn Mason just told the team in the locker room that he's staying at Kansas. And we were like, what? Like being all mad about it.
It's like a record scratch that
Yeah.
Lifetime Christmas album was like,
Right, exactly. So I remember that pretty vividly. So yeah, it's wild. The and like we were there, or I was there for much of that era. And definitely remember like Olandis Gary, had a huge like kind of nail in the coffin touchdown against Florida in '97. He was our leading rusher at '98. And then yeah, I remember that '99 season for the Broncos. He tore it up when Terrell was hurt. And then Jermaine Wiggins had a good NFL career too. I'm trying to remember. He may have won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. I can't remember, but I know he played for both the Patriots and the Panthers. So um, pretty wild the connections between those. So
yeah,
um,
it is kind of strange. There's a little bit more connection, sort of tacitly. You and I kind of talked about this, which I guess that could lead into the fun facts if we want to get into that right now.
We can do that. I was just gonna say one last thing for Harvard history. There is a new every fall there's an exhibit where if you can go by on Fridays and check out an exhibit at the Harvard Library. So there's a new exhibit opens on this Friday, August 29th to the public. It's called Sustained Excellence: A History of UGA Swimming and Diving. The exhibit has been co-curated by Coach Jack Bowerly and our buddy Jason Hasty, who obviously is the UGA Athletics history specialist at Hargrid. So open to the public this Friday, August 29th. So like we say, always a good time to go stop by and see Jason at the Hargrid Library
Hmm. Swing by and say hello to the dear friend.
for sure, for sure. All right, hit us with your fun facts.
Okay. Let's start with the other kind of loose connection. Jim, are you familiar with any connections to the state of Georgia for Marshall in general, outside of what we just talked about with Jason?
I mean, like I have another sports one that I can think of.
Okay.
It's
You
like,
want to lay it on us?
well, mine is like a famous alumnus kind of. I don't know if you're going anywhere along those
I do
lines.
have some famous alumnus
So if it's
or
not related to that, then I don't
alumni.
then I don't know that I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll get to the famous alumni in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so loose connection here. So the movie We Are Marshall,
Okay.
you're familiar with that
Yes.
that movie, which was about the plane crash, right? Where the movie was based on basically a plane crash that happened that killed everyone basically at Marshall, and they were trying to cobble together a team and all those kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that movie that starred Matthew McConaughey, our fraternity brother, um, that movie was shot in part in Atlanta, in Metro Atlanta. There is a UGA and Marshall connection there because one, Sonny Perdue is an extra in that movie.
Okay.
Sonny, incidentally, was a walk-on. Um, he was a walk-on for the Georgia Bulldogs as a freshman in 1966. He did not appear in any official game records or lettering lists, but he played under Vince Dooley, Irk Russell, um, and Bill Pace. And then, Dan Miguel was also kind of involved there too. So, um, yeah, he was a freshman in there, and then he also served as an extra in the movie itself. So he was there. He was just in the background.
Okay. Do we have our other We Are
I
Marshall
think he was a
connection?
coach, actually. I take that back. I'm pretty sure he was a coach,
Okay.
not so much in the background, but yeah, he was an extra. Um, I think he played an actual opposing coach. I can't remember what the. I've lost my notes.
That's okay. I did know that it
Yeah, he was
was
East Carolina. He was an East Carolina coach in the game.
okay. I did know that it was filmed in Georgia because I do know our other connection here is that our friend and friend of the show, Dog Stats, Josh Hancher, that We Are Marshall was like on his IMDb list. So Josh worked film. He's a
Hmm.
cameraman. I forget his exact position. That's on Josh's credit list. Shout out Dog Stats.
Dog stats with he's. I think he said he's got some cool stories. We'd like to
Yeah,
hear those stories, Josh.
yeah.
You know how we love stories. All right, let's get to some fun, famous alumni. Which one of these kind of stuck out to me because I was like, I saw the picture, I saw the name, and I was like, ooh, that sounds familiar. Not so much that I recognize a lot of these names, like a lot of the different football players. Like obviously Randy Moss, he went to Marshall.
Yep.
Um, Jason Williams, um, I believe that doesn't he have a nickname? I can't remember his nickname, but Jason Williams from the NBA. A lot of basketball players have been to Marshall. The housekeeper from the sitcom Two and a Half Men, Conchata Ferrell.
Okay.
You may remember that.
Remember that.
Let's see here. If you were a Christian or a 90s Christian music fan, Michael W. Smith is an alumni of Marshall.
Okay. Okay.
Throwback. One of the funner ones for me personally, was you've seen Band of Brothers, right?
Okay. I've seen like half of it. I actually never
What?
finished it for some
Oh
reason.
my gosh,
Yeah, I know.
Jim,
And all that stuff took place like that, like Curry, like that mountain. Like I've driven past that mountain a million times. So yeah, yeah,
Jim,
I know. Go ahead, continue.
Christmas. You got Christmas break. You got plenty of time. Just sit down
On the
and watch
list.
it.
I think like when I had started it and then I was in the middle of it and we canceled HBO and then I never went back and finished it. So yeah.
It's like a Powell, I guess a Powell tradition. My dad always would put it on. Like ever since it came out, he would always put it on holidays and stuff like that. Like
Gotcha.
a Memorial Day or July, 4th of July kind of thing. So I've kind of picked up on that. So every so often I'll turn it on. Won't be able to
Sure.
watch the whole thing, but anyway, Carwood Lipton is an alumni of Marshall, and he is better. You may recognize him as Donnie Wahlberg
Mm,
um, in the show Band of Brothers. Carwood Lipton is a very involved member of Easy Company. He was there from day one.
okay. Okay.
I
Got it.
believe he was an enlisted like a what do you call it? Oh my gosh, Army Dog's probably losing his mind right now. Um, I believe that he was a non-commissioned officer, a non-com.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see here. Yeah, we mentioned Chad Pennington, former NFL quarterback. I think that was, I mean, we got the basketball coach Mark D'Antoni. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying to see if there was any other ones that stuck out that you, dear listener, would want to know about. But yeah, those are the ones that those hit the high notes. Um, the American ambassador during the Pablo Escobar situation, the American ambassador to Colombia during that time period, he is a graduate of Marshall as well, which I kind of thought was cool. He was involved when they took down Pablo Escobar.
Mm,
I imagine that was an interesting time to be an ambassador to Colombia.
yeah, seriously.
This is, I knew there was one that stuck out to me. We also have another coaching kind of connection to Marshall. Former UGA baseball coach David Perno is a graduate of Marshall as well.
Yes, I did. I did know that. I knew that. Actually heard Jeff Dantzler talked about that this week on a podcast I listened to.
Yeah, okay. Great. So
And
yeah.
I actually didn't even know. I remember I was like looking this back up. I remember Jason Williams at Florida. I guess he transferred. He played at Marshall, so
Hmm.
I think that was a Billy Donovan thing.
He was the first he was a transfer athlete when before it became cool.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
I do have one more. Um, the songwriter for the song "Some Kind of Wonderful," John Ellison,
Hmm.
is also an alumni of Marshall.
Okay. I'll give you one more football. Unless I've just totally blanked and you already mentioned. Did you mention Byron Leftwich?
He was on the list, but I like there's just so many
Oh yeah.
basketball players and
I was
stuff
just
like
throwing I
that.
was throwing Byron Leftwich because he once at one point he was the Falcons quarterback. I think he's an NFL coach now, like an offensive coordinator. And I just remember that game where he was like he had like 1 foot and was getting carried down the field at Marshall.
Hmm.
Yeah. I like it. I like the fun facts.
Uh,
Those are good.
I've got some other fun facts. So Marshall is known, obviously they're the Thundering Herd, but they have a storied history of mascots, actually. They were once called the Indians, which is interesting.
Hmm.
And then they're called the Booger Cats before they were called the Thundering Herd,
Okay. Did not know that.
which is interesting as well.
That is
They're
interesting.
more closely associated with having one of the more respected medical schools in the country as well. So they excel at on the medical side of things.
Okay. Cool.
Don't really have a whole lot of other items there. I mean, they're this one goes out to Yara and I think this one goes out to Yara for their band is called the Marching Thunder,
Hmm.
which I kind of thought was funny.
That's cool.
Um, that's about it for me on the fun facts.
Okay. Okay. Those are good ones. I like those. I will say that Jim Donnan is actually he's in the Marshall Hall of Fame. And is in the College Football Hall of Fame as well, in large part for his obviously coach at Georgia, but then also his national champion at Marshall.
Hmm.
All right. Let's see. For like news and notes, like a couple of things happened since we last recorded. Like the SEC went to a 9 game schedule and Auburn won a bunch of national championships. That was the thing. Are you familiar with that?
Not.
Auburn went back and pulled in Alabama and claimed like 14 national championships or something.
Oh, right. Now that I do recall from earlier this week. Yeah, where we just are pretending that we're claiming national championships just because.
Yeah, yeah. One of them was from so that 2004 year when we played Marshall, the only time we played Marshall. Auburn has claimed. I think that's one of the ones they claimed because that was the one where like they went undefeated in the BCS era. Uh, and so now they say that they were national champions. So whatever. Anyways,
Yeah, come on, guys. That was always the thing that they would make fun of Alabama about was that they have all these pretend national championships, and now here they are.
yeah, exactly. I totally agree. That was my exact reaction to that as well. But yeah, the 9 game schedule thing I think is I don't know. I've heard a lot of people are kind of like upset about it, I guess, or saying that we kind of like folded to the Big Ten pressure, etc. I don't know. I can't decide really how I feel about it. I think I'll probably wait and see who the 3 permanent opponents are, um, to give my final judgment on the move. So, but I'm assuming we'll have Florida and Auburn, and then someone else, either South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, will be my guess.
Hmm. I I have my choices, Jim, but I'm not sure how it's going to shake out.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Times continue to change. We will cheer for Georgia regardless of who we play.
Yeah, seriously. Control what you can control, dear listener.
That's right. Um, as far as like press conference stuff, I think the main thing for me was kind of looking through Kirby's to see if there was anything around Brett Thorson. So I looked for that. And it sounds like he didn't use the word hopeful or anything, but he said I don't know that he's going to be kicking in this game, is actually what he said. So if I had to guess, no Brett Thorson this week, probably see Miller at punter.
Hmm. Big loss.
Yeah. And then I guess so. Just about Marshall. Like, let's talk about like what the deal is. So we mentioned that
What is the deal, Jim?
so they're reigning MAC champions, right? So they or whatever Sun Belt, whatever conference they're in. Sorry, they used to be in the MAC. That Randy Moss team was in the MAC. I still think they're. So they won the Sun Belt last year, and then like they had some success. They won at Notre Dame like 2 years ago. And then had the big year in the Sun Belt last year, but then their coach left, and so their coach went to Southern Miss, and he took like all the players with him or whatever. So like everyone left, everyone went into the portal. So this year, Marshall has like 74 new players. So, under their new head coach, who is Tony Gibson. So this is Gibson's first year leading the herd. He has 9 new assistant coaches with him, 74 new players on the roster, which is the most in all of FBS, and only 3 returning projected starters from 2024, meaning it will be an all new look herd. So that is just absolutely wild. And so that's what I texted you Monday night and kind of what sent us down this whole like flurry of texting on Monday about this. So I mean, it's completely new team. If you go on like ESPN, if you go on ESPN and look at like their statistical leaders from last year, like literally none of them are on the team this year. So like the quarterback, the leading rusher, the leading receiver, the leading tackler, like in any statistical category, they're gone. Including like the quarterback. So the quarterback went with the coach to his new team, and now he's like preseason Sunbelt, like for all Sunbelt first team or whatever, which is just crazy. So it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. 2025 transfer rules and policies just make this clearly very difficult to ascertain how to run preseason analysis on teams when they've completely churned their entire roster.
Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely wild. So as we usually kind of go through and like say like these are the players and like etc. And I've got some stuff, but we can't. It's not like none of the quarterbacks were there last year or like threw a pass or anything. So it's very
I
weird. So
mean,
it's kind of hard to look at.
at this point, I think there's only one player that I'm really concerned about, and that's the player that's running his mouth talking about that he's comparing Georgia to Indiana kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Does one of their was it like a lineman?
I don't even remember. It is insane.
Should we listen to that in case people didn't hear that? Do you want to listen
We
to that?
should we should we should listen to it, at least a little bit of it.
All right. Let me. I'm
You've got it
pulling.
up.
I've got it up. Okay. Here we go. This is actually I don't even know who this is. All right. Here we go.
We're going to shock them. That's what I'm going to say. We're going to shock a lot of people. That's what I'm
On
going
the
to
flip side of that, you don't have game film of Georgia just yet as well, but you have a pretty good idea going to be about what do you see, you study them, you kind of figure about who stands out to you and what do they do.
I feel like from just watching their film, they capitalize off a lot of people's mistakes. Like, if you, like, truly watch their film, a lot of the big plays they got are, like, when people mess up. Like, people out of gap or linebackers making the wrong fits, DBs not in the right coverage and stuff like that. So it's like, but I feel like the first week is the best time to have them because, like, we don't know what they expect out of them and they really don't know what they expect out of us because we're a whole new team, 60-plus new players. So it's like, it's the best time to have Georgia, though, especially being that we're a group of 5 school and they're SEC.
This man clearly was talking to Steve Spurrier.
I say I don't know that I would have said that out loud. He goes on to get asked about like the environment, and he's like, "Oh, I've played at," and like he inserts these other schools. It's like, okay, okay. I mean,
So
like, thank you, young man. I'm glad that you have now fired up, sufficiently fired up our team.
So the funny part about that is that like he goes on to describe all these places that he's played at, but he basically tells on himself because this is his fourth team that he's played on in 4 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he's transferred 4 times, and I hope that Kirby Smart and the boys hit that man in the mouth so hard that it makes him want to transfer a fifth time. Because because I file that under things that I like, damn son, I don't think that I would have said that out loud.
yeah, 100%. Ugh,
Do you have
yeah,
any idea the amount of like just absolute hatred and anger and like malice that is going to be delivered on that man on Saturday? Like these guys don't really have a need to like grind an axe on with anybody on that team because number one, they haven't seen them because they're all new players. They probably haven't seen them on the recruiting trail.
right.
Like they have no reason to hate you, but now I hate you.
I know.
And I took that personal.
To it personally. Yeah, I had the exact same reaction. I was like, I don't know that I would have said that out loud. So yeah, I sent that to you and the text thread immediately upon seeing that. All right, so honestly, like I don't have much else to say about like our offense and like our offensive players since we did the season preview last week. But I'm just gonna give you a little bit about their defense and so how so much the turnover. So I got this from their like kind of game preview. So on the defensive line, Marshall returns no players who have ever started a game on the Thundering Herd defensive line. The only ones who have ever recorded tackles at Marshall are Braden Ward, 14 tackles in 2024, Jacarius Clayton, 6 tackles in 2024, Cameron Chimura, 3 tackles in 2024, and Jalil Rivera Harvey, 16 tackles in 2023 before playing at Western Kentucky in 2024. And now he's back at Marshall. So that's their defensive line. Their linebackers, the only linebacker who has made any tackles for the Thundering Herd are Kieran Martin, who played 29 games, including 6 starts for the Herd from 2020 to 2023, and returns to Marshall after playing at Youngstown State in 2024. They also have Jaden Johnson, who returns to Marshall after playing at Lindenwood University in Missouri in 23 and 24. And they've got sophomore Chasen Clark coming back, who played sparingly last year. And then in the secondary, they do have someone who has 19 career starts. So senior Jadarius Green McKnight is the most experienced returner in the Marshall defense by far. So I don't know that all of that is just so wild to me. Their coach, he did come from NC State. I believe he was NC State's defensive coordinator last year. So they do have a decent amount of guys that transferred in from NC State. But I don't know. I mean, I guess like they're gonna defensive minded coach, I would say, right? So I don't know if I don't know. Maybe they can come up with something, but they're I just don't see how they can be very cohesive, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about our turnover, right, on the offensive line. I've heard people question like how we're, going to be able to put it together on the offensive line. And I mean, just imagine replacing 70 players.
Yeah, and like I heard this week I watched it was an interview of Kirby by Josh Pate from over the summer. It's very good, by the way. I had never seen it. And Kirby talked about like just having to the way you coach, the way you have to, and the way you develop players now, like you have to do things differently than years ago. Because he was saying like in the past it was you're really relying on your third and fourth year guys because it takes 2 years to develop someone. And he's saying like now it still takes 2 years to develop someone, but you don't have that much time. But you can't just invent it and speed it up, right? So it's still going to take you 2 years to get them ready, but they're just going to have to play before then. So you have to do things by scheme, etc., to feel comfortable with these guys being on the field. And now imagine that on the Marshall side. I mean, they're all new, so it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good opportunity for the defense to, stretch their legs a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. So I don't know. I guess what is your actually we've got some. I think we have some kind of type listener questions. So let's talk about the Georgia defense slash the Marshall offense, if that's okay. So similar story on the offensive side of the ball for Marshall. So as far as the the quarterback room goes, they have so none of the quarterbacks has ever taken a snap for Marshall. Um, but Zion Turner has played against Marshall. He was a starting quarterback for the University of Connecticut in the 2022 Myrtle Beach Bowl. And then Jaquai Long was a member of the Marshall football team during his redshirt season in 2024, so last year. But there's another guy, Carlos Del Rio. He's Del Rio Wilson. He's actually from Atlanta, and he came from Syracuse. Um, so he has the most like college stats of anyone out there. But again, no one's taken a snap. Similar story for the running back core. Marshall returns no players who rushed the football for the defending herd. The only running back on the roster who has carried the football at Marshall is redshirt junior Antoine Roberts, who had 2 carries for 11 yards against Coastal Carolina in 2020. Redshirt senior Brian Robinson is the only wide receiver who's caught passes for Marshall. He's got 14 career catches for 2 yards. They have redshirt junior tight end Toby Payne is the only tight end on the roster who's ever caught a pass for Marshall. 19 catches, 195 yards, and 7 touchdowns in his career. So
It just gets worse and worse
It's crazy.
every time you read it, talk about it. Like it's just mind-boggling to me. Like
it is
this is worse than Colorado's transition.
right. Offensive line, they do return 19 career starts amongst its linemen. 17 of those starts though are by Jalen Slappy, and then 1 start by Eric Meeks. So, anyways, just absolutely wild. Slappy started all 13 games in 2024. It is a second team selection on the preseason All Sun Belt. So that's what I got.
Slappy.
Slappy, yeah. So
That's
watch out for Slappy.
that's what that's what Domville used to call us.
I mean, he's got to be on the all name team, I would say. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know.
I keep coming back to it. It's like how can you even like analyze this game?
Yeah.
Although we'll
Yeah.
get to some of the ridiculous AI analysts that I've seen. So
Sure.
yeah, I got nothing. I
Okay.
got nothing. Should be
We
a lot
can.
to a little. Defense should have opportunity to feast. I expect them to impose. This would be the game to impose their will.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. Let's see. Special teams. So we talked earlier. We may not see. I would say we're likely not going to see Brett Thorson. So just be prepared for that. Okay. Here's a fun fact for you, John. Their place kicker. His name is Lorkin. He's a freshman from Donningmore. This is his first time playing American football.
It's like they just grabbed him off the boat kind of thing.
So he played 5 years of Gaelic in Ireland, which is a sport that combines.
Yes, Gaelic football. Yep. I
Yep.
believe that there's kicking through goalposts and things like that it's like pretty important for Gaelic football.
Okay. So yeah, so he's their kicker. And then their punter is from, so he's not.
Dude, this is interesting. Like, I mean, if it's his first ever game of American football, like they've clearly have seen him kick something, so he must be pretty decent at kicking the ball.
Yeah, I would say like I'm kind of tongue in cheek because I would imagine the first time Brett Thorson kicked for Georgia, I think you would say that he played American football and like so it's not doesn't necessarily. I will say
I bet he has some interesting stories.
yeah, yeah, seriously. I do wonder like how so I mean if he played 5 years I'm not sure like how old.
What was his name again?
His name is Lorcan Quinn.
Lorcan Quinn.
And Lorcan is Lorca. I know how to pronounce it because they do have a game note. I will say what I'm looking forward to on our end in the special team is seeing Zachariah Branch. I am excited.
I'm also excited to see that. It would be nice to see him run one. Wouldn't mind that. Don't see Mr. Lorcan's age.
All good. All right, that's what I got. That's what I got for theirs, etc. Just hard to know because it's kind of crazy.
I mean, like I said, this is just one of those games that everything should set up to. But then you on the flip side of that, you're like, well, playing devil's advocate, these guys could be coming out with a chip on the shoulder and just approach this game like the replacements. Like, is Keanu Reeves going to run out there? Like, what's going on?
Have they or have they not done the electric?
I mean, this is like the bad news bears, man. Like
Yeah,
just cobble together this team and the coach is just sitting on the sideline.
well, that's the thing is like if it was, if it was like the same coaching staff, right? Like I would be saying like, look, these guys beat Notre Dame on the road. They won the Sun Belt last year. Like, we've only played them once before and it was 13-3 and like all those things. But like I just don't know what to make of. There's no way to know what the and I would say I mean these guys have never played an actual so
Very well.
all right. You hit the listener question.
Let's hit the listener questions, Jim, because I have nothing else to say about these guys.
All right. Just like last year, as always, the listener questions are brought to you by Working Web Media. So head over to mygodabot our website. If you have a small business, you need help with your site, online presence, they can help as well. Head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs and they will know their way. So been a lot of help to us getting everything shout out. All right, let's see.
Yes, thank you.
Listener, we will kick it off with the building. TM. One, in next year's 9-game SEC season, who is our third protected rival after Auburn? So I threw out some potential like Tennessee, South Carolina. My prediction is South Carolina.
You think so you're thinking South Carolina?
That's my prediction. Like I think that like 1998 that'd be like how could it? But I think like the reality is if you look at like all-time series, like we didn't really start playing annually until the SEC 12 teams. Before then, we hardly played Tennessee, so we actually don't have as much. And we have a lot of recent history, like in the annals of all time of the SEC, we Tennessee. So also if we said like that game doesn't have a name and we don't so it doesn't have to be.
I wouldn't mind having to annually send an L to all the teams in the SEC wearing orange.
Mm, yeah.
However, given recent history, like with the whole schedule and all that kind of stuff, it feels like South Carolina would be an easier opponent for us, like an easier path, I guess, if you will, to the SEC championship. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, who else would have a gauntlet like that as like protected rivals?
Well,
If we were to have Auburn, Florida, and Tennessee, who else has a schedule like that? Is it Tennessee, where they have us, Alabama, and Florida?
yes, that's the
Okay.
and I think that right
I think
there,
that right there is gonna be the reason that they're not a permanent.
100%. Yep.
That's kind of how I feel like the SEC office would approach this, is like trying to mitigate the schedule across powers, if you will.
Yeah, it's not easy. If you may recall, I came up with like a scheduling model like 2 years ago. It was hard. Like I spent way
With a nine
like
game?
over the summer. Oh, that's a good question. I don't even remember how I did it. I think I did. I think I did 9 games, 3 permanents. But
Well,
yeah,
Jim,
it's not
I
easy to do.
mean, you're an AI specialist now, so you can just write a
Now I could
bot.
do it. Now I could.
You can just write a bot from, hey,
Yeah, I could do it now.
give us a 9 game schedule, Grok.
Grok, is this 9 games? Because it's easy to like. I was doing it basically by hand / with it, and like it was easy to like accidentally, have
You mean
somebody
like how
add
we
too
used
many
to do
games or whatever.
everything?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's not easy, but yeah, no, I think that's it though. I think that's it. I think it's like that strength of schedule becomes too hard.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening.
So would you think South Carolina then, or is there anyone else in the?
No, I would say that those two are the biggest ones. South Carolina historically was always like a crapshoot on whether it was going to ruin my birthday, so there's a little bit of nostalgia there from a
Yeah,
student standpoint. Obviously the night the goalpost came down was against Tennessee, so there's some history there. I mean, the
yeah.
Tennessee fans are fun to banter with. That's for sorry, Carlos, that wholehearted.
And then his follow on, sticking with the 9 game, is what will happen to the home and home series with Florida State, Clemson, and I don't know. It's going to be hard because that's the big like fallout we're worried about. If we go to 9 conference games, you're going to lose the big extra non. So like for us, you're playing Georgia Tech. You're going to play Georgia Tech and Florida State and 9 SEC. I'm not sure. I think we've already seen some teams wouldn't be. I'd like to see the Clemson game stay at least, just because that is a traditional. The other ones, unless the committee, if we get to the point where the committee, like it depends on how the committee. I know Graham Coffee has talked about this. Right now, they're basically looking at the law, to weed out. And as long as they continue to operate like that, playing extra difficult non-conference. I
Right.
wouldn't be surprised if we
Yeah. I mean, there's no incentive to keep them.
totally.
Why give up another home game and then the away end of the home? And you could just pay a team like Marshall $1.7 million, I think is making or something like that, to play us.
All right, let's see. Thanks, Brett. Always appreciate. All right, next up, let's go to All School. All School. Who do you see as being the most disruptive player on the Georgia defense in Week 1? I guess his next thing is about Marshall's defense. On Georgia's defense, who do you see being most?
See, I'll answer the backwards question here. I think that they absolutely are going to try to. It's kind of one of those things where you make Gunner beat you because he's just so unproven. So in order to do that, you just sell out to stop the run.
Got it. Yeah, that was the. Will Marshall try to sell out on defense to stop the retool? If they do, will we just pound it anyway?
We'll
But yeah,
see. This could be it could be an impose your will kind of game if they don't have any cohesion and Marshall's not able to click on all cylinders. As far as like the most disruptive player on the defense, I mean, it's got to go to one of the guys that's coming back, I would figure. Christian Miller, CJ Allen. I'm not sure who to go with on that one.
okay. Yeah, yeah, I could see. I think Miller actually is a good. I know he was kind of one of my defensive players to watch in our season preview, so I think that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I feel good about those. Medozi is another one that's getting call outs from spring. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, cool. I think that makes sense, and I'm with you. I think they will try to. I agree. That should most likely their game plan. I will say this is one of those ones where, yeah, like you, I always want to see like, can you run when they know you're going to, kind of thing. Like I'd love to see us be able to get a nice push by the offensive. So we'll see.
hmm
All right, next up, 51-7 GATA uniform Twitter. Favorite Coach Donnan alternate uniform. And then he said also, I think they need to let Coach Donnan call the dogs this Saturday during the pregame activities.
Ooh.
So if you're on YouTube, I'll bring up. I've got some the pictures that he included of the Donnan alternate uniforms. So you've got the 97 season, the 98 Outback Bowl, where we had these were all red helmets, but so white jerseys and black pants. You've got the 98 Cocktail Party, red jerseys and black pants. And then you've got I forget the years, but so there was a LSU home game where we had red jerseys and white pants, and then there was a road game at Tennessee where we had white jerseys and white pants. So we had actually two white pants game with Donnan. I'm gonna go white jersey, black pants. I remember that one. Of those, I would say that's probably.
Hmm.
And we
I
played really
mean,
well in that game. We shut down Wisconsin, so maybe that's skewing my opinion.
of all of them, I hate the all white uniform the least.
Okay, okay,
So I'll go all whites.
okay, okay. No wrong answers. Let's see. John Michael D. He said suggestions from the pod in the Little Stitious front have been noted. Since we don't yet have a new baseline, I have a season-long wrinkle to follow. So I think in general I think we had talked about that the wallpaper was one of the things to look out for, which I will
Yeah.
say the wallpaper did come out on Wallpaper Wednesday. So
Are we batting 1,000?
we're batting 1,000 thus far. So the social media team has shown the fire, passion, and energy that the John Smith asked they would have. So they've done that.
You love to see it.
100%. But John Michael D also said, "Do we need another Kirby leaked audio speech to take home a natty?" He said, "Hype video was great." So thank you. Yes, the hype video was a lot put together.
Yeah, I would definitely take that.
Yeah, yeah. I saw another. I guess I listened to a bunch of podcasts this weekend or something. There's a Brock Bowers was on some Barstool thing. I think the Bussin' with the Boys, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Came up on my YouTube, and there was a part where they were like playing back one of Kirby's halftime speeches. It was funny because I feel like they didn't get to the best part. Like they kind of abandoned it, and Brock was like, "Was that it?" He's like, "No." He's like, "It got better."
Yeah, it got better.
uh,
That's that was the light version.
yeah. I'll say this. I'll say that Kirby is going to do what he feels his team needs to be motivated. That seems to be kind of how he operates. So I'm going to go with that
He will find an edge.
for sure. All right, Fletcher Proctor. He will probably be too busy roaming the sidelines in Columbus. But is there a chance Matthew McConaughey in his leather jacket show up in Athens to support Marshall this Saturday? After all, he was in the movie. He said, or a better chance Randy Moss makes an appearance. Dog Spy. So yeah, no. McConaughey is
I
gonna
don't think
be
that's.
he'll be in Columbus for sure. Even though he is our
Yeah.
fraternity brother, but he is an actual graduate of Texas, which we discovered last season.
Yes. And he's got some special title that gives him access, this kind of access to the University of Texas.
That is correct. He is the minister. No basketball minute this week, Fletcher. You didn't sneak in any basketball, so we're gonna. Irked Russell has got the jokes because the tweet said Marshall preview. He said Keith Marshall is coming back. Awesome. Didn't know he still had eligibility. So
I'll take it.
Keith Marshall was fired up about the clip we played earlier. It was pretty funny. So he had good commentary on that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kevin, just Baggett, 29. Way too soon. Is Andrew Luck going to be enough to keep Stanford from folding their football program? I don't know if you watched any week 0 games. I thought it
No.
was very interesting. So the Stanford at Hawaii game, like they were showing Andrew Luck a lot. So he's the GM of
Mhm.
Stanford, but he was like in a booth and they were showing him like in like coach's booth almost. And
Okay.
like he hired, Frank Reich to temporarily be the head coach or something. So I don't know. It seemed kind of odd to me, like having the GM in the booth. So
Yeah, that does not spark joy.
yeah.
For sure.
So I don't know. Not off to a good start against Stanford, or
Yeah.
sorry, for Stanford against Hawaii. Fun fact though, Hawaii's kicker who kicked the game-winning field goal. I don't know if you saw this. He's Japanese, and he like learned how to kick from watching YouTube videos.
Mm.
Uh, and he has the same last name as a good buddy of mine from high school. So his last name is Matsuzawa. So I went to high school with a guy last name Matsuzawa.
Mm. That's
It
cool.
was very fun when I
You're like, hey, did you ever think about coming to Athens?
right
Did
right.
you ever do some gray hat recruiting?
I meant and I did not send. I need to discuss that with him. Uh, let's see. Herman Wood wants to know what's the kicking game. What is the kicking game going to look like? I think we talked about that earlier. No, most likely no Brett Thorson, but hopefully any field goals we have we get a nice payday.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that there's just it's so unpredictable how the turf is going to behave a week out at this point. Like, I might as well see if it rains before you start making any decision on the footwork and the footwear department.
Hmm. Good call. Good call. All right, Ryan Heinko. Sunday morning, will we be more upset over Bobo's misuse of the running backs or the wide receivers?
I'm hoping that we are not talking about either one of them.
I would agree. I would agree. Ryan, we got a fresh new season. Uh, let's give the offense a chance.
We're starting with a blank slate on more levels than just this one.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. We got some kind of similar theme stuff going. So from James Lawson, 87 on Twitter, is Saturday about Gunnar Stockton keeping the ship steady, or is there a world where he raises his stock against Marshall?
I
I feel
mean,
like
I think there's always a rationale to raise a stock, but yeah, I mean, given the current situation, I feel like that's not unreasonable to have a guess in the can if you can get one.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I feel like there's definitely a world where that happens. So, love for that to be the case.
Hmm.
Let's see. Mark Davis. Will Bobo open the playbook and get Gunner and the offense going, or are we going to play conservative, saving plays for big games? Thoughts on getting backup quarterbacks some action in case of injury to dogs?
You want to take this one
I
first?
mean, I would say in general, like I'll say this: we have not had a good run of getting the backup into games of the last couple of years. So I'll say
Hmm.
that. I mean, you always want to make sure you're able to develop the next guy. So yes, that would be great. Um, I'm not sure how to think about this, honestly. I could see two sides of it. One, we don't know much about Marshall. We've talked about that ad nauseum. And yeah, I mean, we've got some pretty big games looming pretty quickly, and we've definitely seen this coaching staff hold. I feel like we've seen them hold things back. So I would say it's not going to be wide open, but we may see some things like some nuances of the difference from say Beck to Gunner and like the QB draw or like design QB run type stuff. I don't know if you would consider that
Or
opening a
like the
playbook.
wide receiver catch play.
The wide receiver catch play. That's a good one. Let's run that one. So yeah. So I mean, I expect we see. I think it'll look a little bit different than say it looked last year, but I don't. I wouldn't say it's going to be like it means.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't think that we're going to open up the playbook too much on this.
Yeah.
We're going to try to get in, get out, and try to score as little points as we can, as far as like a moral victory, I guess, for lack of a better description, so that they can continue to say that we've got all of them chasing you, kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. And then let's see. Last one. We've got friend of the show, Tim Riley. Welcome to the main event. We're back, boys. LFG. How many impact freshmen are going to see action versus Marshall? Looking forward to a great season of fire, passion, and energy. I'm not sure how many, but I'll give you a couple on the offense that I would love to see in Talon Taylor and CJ Wiley.
Hmm.
Love to see those guys. And then wouldn't mind if Bo Walker got a look.
Those would be,
So there's at least three.
yeah.
I would expect more though. Like I said, like from that interview that Kirby I saw with Kirby, I thought was pretty eye opening. Just talking about the need to play these younger guys just because of who we have, and we're not stacked with upperclassmen like we used to be. So we're gonna see a lot of guys play on Saturday. I would expect.
Right. I'm expecting that nobody is safe after a few weeks, kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right, JP. That leaves us with one more thing under the umbrella of the listener.
Let's hit it.
Oh my God! My God, a freshman.
Trying to put glasses on it.
1980 rule, brother.
It is time for Coaches Over Unders Marshall Edition. All right, John, this is what I was saying that I was messing around with as we were starting. So we have a new look for this, so we can. This is an attempt to like not lose track of what we're doing. All right, so I guess I still have the lead, so I get to pick. I'll just kick us off. First one starting with the offense. Gunnar Stockton over under 265 yards passing. I am going to go over.
I will also go over.
Okay. All right. Now over to you. Running back rushing touchdowns over under 2.5.
0. Under.
Okay. I'm gonna go over.
Mm.
And then players with a catch over under 9.5. Might as well make it a clean sweep over.
Yeah, give me the over.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Over to you now. We'll switch over to the defense. Over under forced turnovers at 1.5.
Over.
Okay. I agree. I'm gonna go over. Over and under 3.5 sacks. So I guess this is over to me. I'm gonna say for the Jordan Jenkins sack challenge, which if you didn't catch our last episode, be sure to check out the Jordan Jenkins sack challenge with Bulldogs battling breast cancer, and go out there and pledge a donation per sack. I'm gonna say over.
What was the line again?
3.5.
3.5 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over.
Okay. And then Marshall first half points over under 6.5.
Push.
Classic.
I'll go under.
Okay. I am also going to go under. All right. So then with special teams, over under Peyton Woodring field goals made at 6.5. I'm going to go under. That's a lot of field goals.
6.5 total kicks.
Field goals made.
Yeah, just give me the downstairs.
Okay. And then last but not least, the miscellaneous, over under temperature at kickoff 79.5.
I'm gonna go under.
Okay. I'm gonna go under as well after looking at the forecast. So I'm going to trust that. So we both get.
That's even better.
There we go. All right. Coach Trill, thank you as always for sending us in the over-unders, as always.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Hope to see you out there. Newly engaged.
Congrats again, Coach Trill. All right. Let's do our predictions. So this is where we had the funny conversation earlier. All right. So the line is Georgia's favored by 39 points. The over-under point total is 55.5. That gives you an implied score of Georgia 47.25 to Marshall 8.25. A lot of the metrics we were looking at last year are no longer around. We pulled up OddsShark. They actually have Marshall predicted to win 25.2 to 24.2. We can't figure out what's going on with that. And John, I believe you asked Grok what the deal was with that?
Yeah, I went ahead and asked Grok about the analysis of their post basically, and Grok's indicated that OddsShark side's odds heavily favored Georgia at minus 39.5 point spread, and then minus 20,000 money line. So basically, that's implying that there's a 99% with probability for UGA. Sorry, 99% win probability for UGA. So yet their prediction is oddly claiming that Marshall wins 25-24. They cover and they're going to hit on the under. I just don't understand how that's possible, and I think this is clear proof that Skynet is nowhere near prime time. I just
Okay.
I just don't see a world where this makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with
Hey,
you.
maybe they jumped into an episode of Sliders and in some alternate reality. That's where.
Could be. Could be. I looked up the ESPN matchup predictor also has a 97.3% chance of winning.
Yeah.
Um,
Get everybody out. Empty the benches and get all the starters home and just keep them wrapped in bubble wrap and we'll be good to go.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna throw out 31-10 is kind of what
Hmm.
dogs.
I was thinking 35-10.
Okay, cool. We're in line. Shocking, we agree.
Shocking, we agree on something here.
Coach has some pick'em games for us for like
Okay.
around the nation. Um, let's see. I think I've got I'll just go through them in there. So you've got Friday night game, 8 o'clock on ESPN, Georgia Tech at Colorado. Georgia Tech is favored by 4.5.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know what Colorado's going to look like without Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. I guess I'll take Tech.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Tech's gonna walk away with that one. I don't have a whole lot of fear of some of these teams.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
that I have a fear of Georgia Tech, but
right.
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Then on Saturday at noon, in Mercedes-Benz, actually, Syracuse against Tennessee. Tennessee's ranked 24. Tennessee favored by 13.5.
I have friends, former coworker that has been asking me about, where should our kids stay for the games, and I'm like, don't stay downtown.
Yeah,
It's just, I don't know. I know it's some people on the podcast are, adamant about how they go about and do their stuff. So, um, yeah, if it were me, I would want peace and quiet. I would want to know that there's going to be peace and quiet and just, yeah,
yeah.
I don't
And
know.
I know Tennessee's favored by 13.5, but I'm gonna go with Coach Fran Brown. Maybe that's in a move. I'm gonna go Syracuse.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Syracuse. Let's
Nice.
let's ride.
Um, let's see. Then on Saturday at 3:30 on ABC, you got number 8 Alabama is a 13.5 point favorite at FSU. I double checked. This is like actually at Florida State, so this is not.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go Bama. I have no idea what Florida State's gonna look
Yeah, I think you're gonna see Alabama make a statement on this one.
like. Then you got, I mean, the biggest game, I guess, Saturday at noon, the big noon kickoff on Fox, which Fox and YouTube TV did come to some sort of temporary agreement, by the way. I didn't hear
Okay.
about that. So if you have
No.
YouTube TV, you will be able to watch that game on
I
Fox.
feel, I feel
Um,
like YouTube TV has just constant issues.
it's like every year right around when football starts, this happens with some channel. So you got number 1 Texas at number 3 Ohio State, but Ohio State, even though they are the lower ranked team, are favored by 1.5.
Hmm.
I don't know, man. You got Arch Manning against Julian Sand as the quarterback matchup here.
I like Ohio State in that one, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got Ohio State. I'm gonna take the home team.
Right.
And the last one is Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Number 9 LSU at number 4 Clemson. Uh, Again, this is an actual road game at Death Valley. Clemson favored by 3.
Hmm.
Can Brian Kelly and LSU end the game 1 drought?
I don't think that they will.
How about Clemson's number 4?
It is wild. I don't understand how some of these teams are ranked ahead of us.
Yeah, Yeah.
That also makes no sense.
Yeah.
But maybe they have their data analysts combing through their files and just letting us know, hey, this is I don't understand.
Yeah. And I guess I'll take Clemson. I'll believe that the Brian Kelly can win in week 1.
Yeah, I'll take the Fighting Dabos, the Fighting Goobers.
Uh, cool. Well, hey, we made it. We made it through it. It's hard. It's hard to preview a team where like no one.
It's hard to preview a team that has a whole new team.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I
No
will.
film, no nothing. Like just
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing. New coaching
we're
staff.
just gonna raw dog an opponent.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they look like when they try it out there. But hey, they like I don't know the 25 season ready to roll. We had Gunnar Stockton. Gunnar had we didn't even talk about our whole onward reserve discussion prompted into like a very large Instagram reel ad to come out. Obviously that came from
Yeah, totally.
so established, entrenched as the starter. Yeah, excited to see the Stockton era.
Yeah, I think he's gonna prove some doubters, some haters wrong for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, well, I'm going to the game. I'm not sure who all is going. I think Lily and I are going. I'm not sure who all else is, but I know we talked about this before. We're going to be kind of coming in hot the day of because we're doing some Friday night lights here on Friday. But drive down, see the fam. And we'll see if I end up seeing my niece or not because she's a freshman now, so I don't know.
Yeah.
She'll be at the game. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll see her.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So her first game as a student. So that's pretty
Yeah, it's cool. That's worthy of documentation. Like you're going back to school.
right, right. Well, cool. All right, man. Fun one to get back into the swing of things, and the season is upon us.
We're ready to go, man. Let's just go ahead and knock these next couple of days out, and I'm sure by the time you read this, it'll be probably Friday, I'm guessing.
Cool.
All right, man. It's good to link back up with you, and looking forward to the season, and go Dogs.
Absolutely. Go Dogs.